Hello, everybody. My name is Benny, and welcome to the Fool's Apprentice. Oh my gosh, it's been a summer, guys. It's been a really hard summer. I haven't had a patch this hard in over a decade, I think. It's been a rough one. You know, as many of you know, I've already mentioned it. I was decided to buy a home and had to sell the condo and had to pack and had to move and still had to do my videos for the one tarot card study, and then I had work, and then, oh my God, I had this lofty idea. You know what? I'm going to present at a conference, on LGBT cultural competency and health disparities. And that was stressful trying to get all that in. And then I had a water pipe bust in my home or outside. So I didn't have water for like 5 days with 3 dogs. Oh my God. I had to go to my friend's house every day to shower and change and get ready to go to work. So, water pipes fixed, condo is sold, I'm completely moved in, did my presentation, it went great. It went so well that one of the national directors for my company came up to me and asked me to present at another conference in February. And of course, I said yes. And so that stressor will happen again. Um, so it's been a whirlwind. And this week is like the first week in a while that I just feel a little bit more like my old self. My go lucky, happy, smiling wherever I go kind of self. And could like breathe easily. And I was very productive at work. And I went back to like that place where I was excited to go to work and help the people that I help. And I was so motivated to do my video today. I tried to do this video last week, but I was really stumbling and struggling. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not in the mood. And so I didn't want to really force it. But I got up this morning, didn't sleep very well last night. I'm tired actually, but I'm in a good mood. I'm having my room temperature coffee. It's a thing that's happened with me recently. I drink coffee at room temperature, but it tastes cold because it's room temperature and my brain's used to drinking it hot. So hopefully that kicks in real soon. But I have a different oh, okay. And then my beard. Oh my God, my beard. Okay. People have been mentioning my beard. When I was in my 20s, I had a goatee for 13 years. It looked great. I loved it. Because it really grew in beautifully. And I had a flat top because I had just gotten out of the Marine Corps and that looked really good. And I didn't have the receding hairline on the ends. And something happened and I decided, you know what? I'm going to grow my beard. Let's see. I have been really surprised with how full it is. And so I've been watching videos on beards and how to take care of beards and how to grow them and shape them and what products to use. And like there's this whole culture around beards. There's even a national mustache beard competition. And then of course my brain goes, oh my God, you should enter. But so far I really haven't faced any challenges, like real challenges, until this week. I have a specific idea of how I want to grow. I want a handlebar mustache. As you could see, that it's getting there little by little. But I want a really big, thick handlebar mustache. And the only way to get that is if I let my mustache grow down so that I could part it. So, oh my God. Yesterday I had an ice cream cone and ice cream kept getting on the bottom of my lip. And so every time I took a lick or a bite, I was like tapping it with a napkin and then eating. And so I can see that this is going to be an annoyance that I'm going to have to get over. Also, I haven't trimmed it at all. I started growing it in the first week of July. And everybody says, don't shave it for 3 months or trim it for 3 months if you want to grow it long. And I want to grow it really long, past here for sure. So we'll see what that looks like. But I've been really pleasantly surprised with how full it is. And I'm wondering, like, is this too big? I don't know. But isn't that crazy? I've never had this. I think, and I gotta say, I like it. I like the way I look in it. And then I have these glasses that I bought, uh, silver rim glasses. I used them like 2, 3 videos ago, and they make me look very distinguished. I'm very aware of how I present myself at work and how you're treated depending on how you're presented. And being a therapist, I want my words to be really taken and contemplated. And so if when I wear those glasses, I don't know, people just seem to pay a little bit more attention. It's really, really interesting. But I've known stuff like that since I was young. So how I present myself, dress, face, hair, really has a way of how people treat me. But that's all beside the point. I don't even know how long 7 minutes. We haven't even gotten to the video yet. Okay, so all right. I am a huge, huge Katey Flowers fan. Love her. And when I came into tarot and got involved into tarot tube, and watching videos, she was the first one that I recall ever watching. And I just really gravitated to her. I thought she was just so smart and had an easy way of explaining things that I could follow very clearly. I love the fact that she's very, I don't know, she thinks really critically, and you can tell that she really puts effort in the videos that she does. And frankly, she just makes me smile when I watch her, and I just really like her. And so when she decided to leave, I was gobsmacked. I was like, what? I've only had you for several months, and I think maybe 4 or 5 months, and then she was gone. And I'm so grateful that she left all her videos up because I do go and watch them quite a bit. And I was watching some a couple of weeks ago, ones that I really liked. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make a video of my favorite Katey Flowers videos that she's done. And I thought that would be a really nice way to, highlight the ones that really I found valuable that I was able to use. Maybe introduce her to some people that don't even know who she is because they're new to tarot. Maybe inspire people who do know her who haven't seen these videos to go and watch them. So, and I had more than what I'm showing, so I broke it down to five Katey Flower Tarot 2 videos that I really like, that I go back and I watch. And when I go back and I watch, part of it is because I just want to spend some time with Katey. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's like watching reruns of your favorite TV show. It's like that for me. And also, I always pick up something, just even one little thing that's different. So I have my notes. I wrote several pages of notes. So I'm going to be looking at my notes because there was a lot of information and I knew I wasn't going to be able to remember it. That wasn't going to happen. So, Katey Flowers. Actually, her channel is called Katey Flowers Tarot. I'll put the link below. I was blown away by this. She hasn't been on TarotTube, right? But people are still subscribing to her. People are staying subscribed to her. She has over 28,000 28,000 followers. I think that's a testament to her likability, a testament to the quality of her videos and the, the benefits that the people that subscribe to her get educationally, emotionally. You can have her in the background while you're cleaning or drinking your coffee, and it just feels really, I don't know, like you're with your friend. It's really awesome. She's like a roommate for some people, I think. She has 295 videos, which is awesome. She started 9 years ago. Her first video was on January 25th. I forgot the year. What year was it? 2016, I think it was. Um, and her first video was like a just, I don't know how I would describe it, but it had to deal with Aborigines land. I think it was a national holiday, and she just wanted to make some kind of procl- I struggle sometimes with words. Proclamation. I think I now I'm even thinking, am I using the right word? But we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it because it is what it is. And then of like this is these people's land. It will always be these people's land. And I thought that was like, wow, that's really cool. A way to recognize a community, a a group of people that have been oppressed, suppressed for so long. Then on March 25th of the same year, she did her first deck video, which was an Oracle deck video. That one was the Dreamtime reading cards. Not my style. I looked at it and I'm like, eh. So I didn't watch the whole video because I could care less. That deck doesn't resonate with me. And if it resonates with you, great, go watch her video. And then her first tarot deck was that following September, September 25th, and it was the Stella Tarot. I don't have that one. And I go through phases with the Stella Tarot. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I got to have it. Other times it's like, yeah, it's not my style. And then other times I want it. And then I go back and forth. And so I haven't bought it because I believe what will happen is I'll buy it, I'll get it, and I'll probably never use it. But that was the first tarot deck that she did. She did a walkthrough of it. Now, her channel has tons of different types of videos. She has Oracle videos in different types, like Oracles for Beginners, my Oracle collection, really doing walkthroughs. She does the same thing with tarot decks. She does a lot of book reviews. And if you know Katey, she loves her books. In fact, one of the things that I like about her is she sits in this chair, this wingback chair, with her library to her right. And it's just, oh, and then she has a video of her new shelves that I really like. You could see how excited she is, but it's this wall to wall video of how she did her books. And it's actually quite impressive, all the books that she has. She does videos on different types of favorites. She does videos on different types of hauls. She has a lot, well, maybe I wouldn't say a lot, but she has several videos for beginners, which I think, like for me, when I first started, I watched all of those and I watched all of those several times because I did find quite a bit of information that really was helpful for me. Uh, okay. Katey Flowers is the first person on TarotTube that I saw that talked about mental health. And the first time I heard her talk about mental health, she was talking about her mental health and her diagnosis. If you want to know what her diagnosis is, go watch her videos. It's for her to announce, not me. But I was very, very taken aback and very impressed on really how courageous that was to open yourself up, because talking about mental health, specifically yours with a formal diagnosis, I think is one, it's very vulnerable. I mean, you're really opening yourself up to people and you don't know what kind of feedback you're going to get. And the fact that she was just so brave to be able to do that, to normalize it for everybody that has a mental health diagnosis. And she's just very matter of fact about it. And that, I love that. She's not making it a big deal unless she has to because she's making a point about something. But as a mental health therapist, I was just really like beaming from the inside out, because when you open it up, there's a sense of freedom in that. This sense of shame and embarrassment kind of falls to the wayside. Now, there is still stigma in society today all around the world, and I can only speak of the United States because this is where I live. Even here in the United States, even though we see commercials, we see advertisements there on YouTube video, famous people are advertising certain companies. I mean, you see it everywhere. There's still a stigma to it. And for her to do it so many years ago really is a testament to her character. And so I will tell you, that's one of the things I love about her is that, and then she challenges people in their perceptions, and she'll find something. She did a book review, and she wasn't really particularly happy, and a deck as well, really happy with some of the content. She was very frank, but what I liked about it is she talked about why, and she gave you the reasoning and the impacts that it would have on people, which I was like, kudos. I mean, she's super smart, super smart. She has some vlogs on there. I've never really watched those. I'm not a really vlog watcher, but for those of you who are, and then she does her favorite yearly decks, which is really cool. So, 5 videos. And so the first one that I'm going to talk about is called Learn Tarot for Free. This is one that I watched multiple times. I literally went to all of those that she had, and I used one maybe. But the thing is that she provides 10 different places where you can go, where you can get tarot education for free. And she has different types. She has YouTube, one for YouTube, blogs, websites, podcasts. She has a PDF that she found for a book. She found 2 guided meditations and an online forum. And what I really like about that video is right off the bat, she really encourages everybody to support the creators of those places. And it doesn't even have to be monetary. And she gives you examples of how you could do that, which I thought was really great. That, she's, because you know me, really, it's about community building. And I really like that she did that, to ask her viewers to support these people who, and I'll tell you, all this stuff takes time to do. And so if you could just subscribe, or you could write an email or a note saying thank you, I mean, I think that goes a long way. She gives you examples on how some of these recommendations she used and how they benefited her. She's really good at explaining what the benefits and what stands out for each and every of her recommendations. She even has it posted on the video. She'll have it on the side. She'll scroll through them. She'll point things out that she thinks are really important, that really stand out for her, where you could really learn something from, which I thought was really, really good. And you could tell she's very enthusiastic through the whole thing. She's just like really eager to get you the information. And I love, 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 love that she plugged herself at the end. It was a little, like 3, 4 sentences, put some videos up, because, she does have a lot of content that I think would be beneficial. So that was one that I would go to a lot. And I think if you're new, or if you haven't seen that video, give it a shot. It's called Learn Tarot for Free. So another video is called How to Do a Tarot Reading. Let me tell you, that one I watched again and again and again when I first found her, and I found that video because I was brand new. I really didn't know what I was doing. And what I liked about it is that, one, it wasn't very long. 2, is she really talked step by step how she goes through the process of doing a reading for herself. And she's very clear that this isn't the only type of reading that she does, but this is like an example of what one would look like. And so she was the first one. Well, of course she's the first one. It's one of the first videos I saw. She really talked about the intention of the reading before you pull the cards, and the process that she goes through before she even pulls a card. She said something that I thought was really a knockout idea that has stuck and resonated with me. She says, where is it at? If she says, when she's playing with the cards in the beginning, it feels like a conversation with the deck, touching it, shuffling it. It's like a handshake. It's like a small conversation. And I was like, that is a wonderful description of what it is like to interact with your deck. And that is how I don't do it all the time, but that's how I try to. It's true. It's you're having this relationship with this deck that you're shuffling and you're thinking about. But she really, really talked about the focus that she has with every part of that before she pulls her card. And then she does the same thing throughout each card. And she explains that whole process, card by card by card, which is very helpful if you're wanting to learn how to do a reading. Uh, then she discusses the guidebook and how she utilizes the guidebook. And she talks about when she uses a guidebook and the purpose for the guidebook and how it helps her with this particular reading, which I thought was really, really good. So that was a really big tip that I learned. She talked about jumpers, the importance of jumpers. She talks about an oracle deck that she used at the end and its purpose within her reading, which I think is very, very helpful. And I'm purposely not giving you all the information because I want you to go and watch the videos. Um, and then she talks about how at the beginning, she has this process that she does before pulling a card. And at the end, she has a process on what she does is ending her reading and thanking the deck for the reading that she received, which I thought was really awesome. So that one is called How to Do a Tarot Reading. And I'm going to tell you, I can tell that this is going well compared to last week, because last week I was so flustered, turning the camera off, sitting here trying to get myself together, stumbling over my words, not knowing what I was going to say next. It was a mess. So I'm glad that today is a little bit better. And like I said, I feel like myself. And I know I'm talking 100 miles an hour, and I don't think it's the coffee. Now, this is one that was really important to me. Her video of how to find out-of-print decks. It's a good video. It's one of her best ones. If you're someone that's trying to find out-of-print decks that are difficult to find. And in there, she says that, she's known for being able to find out-of-print decks. I could say that I think I'm pretty well known as well for being able to find out-of-print decks. I hear a lot about that. And you've seen the videos when I'm like, my mind is blown and I've been able to find an out-of-print deck, like the Fairy Tale Tarot from Baba Studios, Two Spoiled Tarots. Which one is it? The Mythical Creatures, which I was so lucky to get. The Labanco, the Votan before it came out recently. So I've been very fortunate. And some of the tips that I use came from this video, plus some of the ones that I have on my own. And also just sheer luck. They put it on sale on Facebook and it's been there for a minute and you jump on it, and then I had Allie from Totero help me with one, which was great. So she really goes through several tips. She talks about things that you need to do before you begin searching. She talks about the monetary values and what you really need to contemplate about what you're going to be spending. She talks about becoming search savvy and the things that you can do and what that means. So I thought that was really great. In fact, she had a tip with eBay, and she talks about eBay. And that helped me in being able to find a deck, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then she also talks about, what kind of compromises that you might want to consider when you want an out-of-print deck. Because it's just not about finding it. Because sometimes you find a deck and it's missing something, or there's a card that's damaged, or maybe there's a card that's missing, or there's something, it's not pristine. And so you got to think, like, what am I willing to compromise? So she kind of expands and unpacks that for us. She talks about the importance of community connections and where you can find decks and, things to consider. And then she talks about trading and how that works. And what I like about this video is that she's just not telling you what to do. She actually is sharing life experiences and pulls out some decks and tells you like how she was able to attain some of these decks, the process that she went to, the compromises that she did and how these tips kind of helped her and how she's passing that along to us. So I've said this before, so I'm going to add my own tip that isn't on hers. One of the things that I always do, always, no matter what, is someone who's selling a deck, I have them send me photos of 2 random cards of my choosing with a piece of paper with today's date on it with the card. With the card. And that just makes me know that they have the deck with them. Mind you, it takes them a long time to respond. You know, I get a little nervous, and so I'm thinking, oh, did they Photoshop it? So I had them send another one with 2 other random cards. But I do it when they're responding really quickly, and I'll tell them, can you please send me one more with the date? Can you send it with these 2 cards? You know, I'll be right here waiting to look at it, and if you can send it to me really quick, I'll buy it. I've only had to do that once, but that's an additional tip. And then I think, is this the final one? No, I got 2. All right, so the first video that I saw of hers was the Royal Fez Moroccan Tarot video. And it is the first out-of-print deck that I wanted. I used her tips, and I was able to find it. And then my brother bought it for my birthday. Then I had to move. The box got lost, and I had to go find it again. And I will post that video below because that's a crazy story. But it was her first purchase of 2016. And in that year, she talked about how she was going to go on a low buy year. She was only going to buy 8 decks. And she said something that I thought was really, really interesting that never crossed my mind. She talked about, had she not had a low buy year of 8 decks only, she wouldn't have bought that deck, because that deck would have been outside of her general price range, out of her budget, and it would have been an extravagance for her. And then she talks about why. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Because if you don't have a low buy year and you're buying decks throughout the year, you don't have a larger budget to get like really big decks that you want. Big decks being out of print or expensive decks that are coming from overseas, because you know how shipping is. And I was like, oh, that's a really good point. So when you have a low buy year, your budget really grows, or it can, for a deck. And so that's what happened with her. And because she's in a low buy year, she bought this deck, which she says is an investment for her. And so I went on the hunt, and I was able to get it. Now, crazy story, but I'm not going to tell it. You have to go watch my other video. But I love this deck. It is such a good deck. Oh my God, the light's really bright. Let me see. The light's really bright. I talk about the history of it, where it came from, which I think is really, really interesting. But when I saw this deck, and she did a review, she did a walkthrough, and I was hooked. And so when this deck comes out, I always think of Katey Flowers, which is not actually her real name, which is interesting. And so if you want to know her real name, you have to watch her videos, and and so it's like an Easter egg. You got to find it. But it's a really stunning deck. This version's from the 1970s. So that is the Royal Fez Moroccan Tarot. Great video. Really short, simple, but it had a really big impact on me. Then her last video that I think is a departure from everything else, and in fact has nothing to do with tarot, oracle cards, or divination in any way, shape, or form, but I think it's a very powerful video. So she had taken a break to take care of herself. As she talks about, she has mental health concerns that she needs to address, and so she had to take a break. And she let everybody know ahead of time, hey, gonna be taking the break, gotta take care of myself. And and was very clear that she really didn't need any kind of advice, but support would be nice. Well, she comes back, and it turns out that a lot of people ended up emailing her, messaging her, leaving comments, giving her unsolicited advice. And that is what the name of her video is, Unsolicited Advice. It's a very serious video. I mean, it's the kind of video that you're really not going to smile. It's one that it's really serious. And she even says it is. And she talks about several things in there. The gist of it is she didn't want advice. She's able to take care of herself. And frankly, she didn't appreciate it and thought it was really rude. And so she talked about what it was like for her to receive all these stories that she didn't really ask for. She talked about how she was quite taken aback by all of this because it was really unexpected, because she had been very clear on her video that she wasn't looking for anything like that. And the video was very clear in her setting boundaries moving forward from that video on what was acceptable and not acceptable for her, which I thought was great, because here is a clear example of what you can, I mean, if you're somebody that has a really hard time setting boundaries, this video is a great way to see how someone does it. She did an excellent job in setting boundaries where she could be heard. Because, somebody wants to set a boundary, you get upset, you don't want to hear it, you really don't hear the message. But she presents it in a way that is palatable, digestible, where someone's really going to listen and not click off or turn away. And the thing is, I think that was really important for the people that really did provide her that advice that she didn't really want. And I think most of those people really probably did sit through it and learn something, I think. She talked about what does it mean to get unsolicited advice, and her perspective of how it's really more about you than it is about the person who is going through whatever they're going through, which that's a really good part that she expands on. And then talking about when you give advice to somebody you don't know, you're making a lot of assumptions because you don't know them. You don't know their backstory. You don't know their personality. You don't know what their life looks like. And so you're giving advice based on what you think and what you heard, but you don't really get the whole story, which makes a lot of sense to me. And then she talked about the dangers of unsolicited advice. And yes, let me tell you, people who are dealing with stuff in their life, you give them advice that they're not asking for, you don't know where they are, and you might tip them over the edge where they have a really hard time coming from. Because you might say something that triggers them and it puts them in a tailspin. As a therapist, I've seen this happen multiple times with clients where they come in, they talk about someone gave them some advice and how it really set wrong. And now they're in a tailspin because they can't get out of the resentment, the anger, or it triggered some kind of memory or some emotion that feels so very overwhelming. They're really having a hard time to get grounded. So she really talked about the other side of unsolicited advice and the impact that it can have on the person you're giving it to, which I thought was really, really good. So that was really a very powerful video. And when it's all said and done, I love Katey. She's very frank. She'll tell you what she thinks. And if you like it, great. If you don't, that's great. If you disagree, that's fine. But she is very clear on her perspectives, her views, and she understands very clearly that everybody else may not have them. She talks in several videos. I've seen her really, her videos, some of them, it isn't all fluff. Like if she's doing a review of a book or a deck, if there is something there that she feels doesn't set well, or she finds could be harmful to the community, she's going to address it. And she addresses it well, clear, gives you the reasoning, and is unabashful about it. Love it. So, Katey Flowers, miss you. I hope you come back one day. She has a book channel, and I went on there, but she hadn't posted in several months, so I don't know if she's on TerraTube at all anymore. But if you don't know her, if you know her, if you maybe you haven't seen these videos, go by and check them out and tell me what you think. I'd like to know if you find these helpful. Okay, that was a mouthful, right? Okay, until next time, my name is Vinny and I am the Fool's Apprentice. Bye, guys.